Eva loved exploring her grandmother's old house. Every summer, she would spend her vacation there, and each visit was like stepping into a magical world. The house had long, winding hallways, secret rooms, and a garden that seemed to stretch on forever. But the most exciting part for Eva was that she always found something new each time she explored. One warm afternoon, while wandering through the garden, Eva stumbled upon something unusual. Hidden behind a thick wall of ivy was a small, wooden door. It was so old that it was almost invisible under the tangled green vines. Eva had never noticed it before, and her heart skipped a beat as she stepped closer. "What's this?" she whispered to herself, brushing the ivy away to reveal the door. The door was locked, but just as Eva was about to turn away, something shiny caught her eye. It was a small, golden key, half buried in the dirt near the base of the door. She picked it up, her hands trembling with excitement. Could this be the key to the door? Eva wondered. Her curiosity growing, she slipped the key into the lock, and with a soft click, the door creaked open. Eva hesitated for a moment, her heart pounding. What could be behind the door? She pushed it open wider and stepped through. On the other side of the door was a hidden garden, more beautiful than anything Eva had ever seen. The air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers, and sunlight streamed through the trees, casting a golden glow over everything. In the center of the garden was a sparkling pond, surrounded by colorful flowers and tall, swaying trees. Eva's eyes widened in wonder. It was like stepping into a fairy tale. How could this garden have been hidden here all this time? She wondered aloud. She wandered through the garden, marveling at the beauty around her. There were flowers of every color, roses, daisies, tulips, and others she didn't even recognize. Birds with bright feathers sang from the trees, and butterflies fluttered around her, as if welcoming her to this secret world. As she explored further, Eva noticed something strange. In the middle of the garden stood a large, stone fountain, but instead of water, it was filled with a swirling, silvery mist. The mist seemed to move and shimmer, almost like it was alive. "What is this?" Eva asked, stepping closer. As she peered into the mist, she saw something even more incredible. Inside the mist, images began to form, pictures of a boy and a girl playing in the garden. They were running through the flowers, laughing and chasing butterflies. Eva watched in amazement as the images played out like scenes from a story. Suddenly, the images changed. The boy and girl were standing in front of the garden door, but now it was locked, and they couldn't get back in. They looked sad, as if they were being kept out of the garden forever. Eva's heart sank. "Who are they?" she whispered. "And why can't they come back?" She reached out to touch the mist, hoping to find some answers, but the moment her fingers brushed the surface, the images disappeared, and the mist began to swirl faster. Before she could react, the mist rose up and surrounded her, lifting her off the ground. Eva gasped in surprise as she was pulled into the air, and in the blink of an eye, she was transported to another part of the garden. When she landed, Eva found herself standing in front of a small stone cottage. It was covered in ivy, just like the garden door, and it looked as though it hadn't been touched in years. Curious, she stepped closer and knocked on the door. To her surprise, the door opened slowly, and an old woman with kind eyes and a gentle smile appeared. "Hello, dear," the woman said softly. "I've been expecting you." Eva blinked in confusion. "You've been expecting me? How?" The woman chuckled. "This garden has a way of bringing people who are meant to find it. You're not the first, and you won't be the last." Eva's mind raced with questions. "Who are you? And what is this place?" The old woman smiled. "I'm the keeper of this garden. It's a magical place, full of secrets and wonders. But it's also a place of memories." "Memories?" Eva repeated. The woman nodded. "Yes, this garden holds the memories of everyone who has ever visited it. The boy and girl you saw in the mist, they were once here just like you. But one day, they left and never returned." "Why?" Eva asked, feeling a strange sadness in her chest. The woman sighed. "They grew up, and as they grew older, they forgot about the garden. The door was locked, and they could never find their way back." Eva frowned. "That's so sad." The woman nodded. Yes, it is. But the garden is always here, waiting for those who still believe in its magic. Eva looked around the beautiful garden, feeling a deep connection to the place. She didn't want to forget it, like the boy and girl in the mist. Will I forget the garden too? She asked softly. The old woman smiled gently. That depends on you, dear. As long as you remember the magic, the garden will always be a part of you. Eva felt a sense of peace wash over her. She knew she would never forget this place, no matter how much time passed. Thank you, Eva said, her voice full of gratitude. The old woman nodded. Now go, child. The garden door will always be open for you. With a final smile, the woman stepped back into the cottage and the door closed behind her. Eva turned and made her way back to the garden door, her heart full of wonder and joy. When she stepped through the door and back into her grandmother's garden, she felt like she had just returned from a dream. But she knew it was real. The magical garden was real, and it would always be there, waiting for her to return.